from?
Senegal.
Where you going?
Yes, sir.
New York?
Yeah.
You?
Senegal.
Where you going? New York?
Senegal.
New York? California? Where you going?
Senegal.
Where are you going? New York. You?
Minnesota.
You're from Senegal going to Minnesota?
No, like Guinea.
Where?
Guinea.
Guinea. You're from Guinea. Wow, you're the first one. Okay. To Minnesota. And you, sir?
Senegal.
Senegal? Where you going? New Jersey. Thank you. You?
Senegal.
Where you going?
New Jersey.
Thank you. You?
I'm from Senegal.
And where you going?
I'm going New Jersey.
New Jersey. Thank you. You?
India.
Where you going?
California.
Thank you. You?
India.
Where you going?
California.
You?
New York.
New York? Synagogue?
Senegal.
Thank you. You?
New York. Senegal.
Thank you, sir. You?
New York.
Thank you. You? Where you going? Where you going? You're from Synagogue? Where you going? Chicago. Thank you. You?
Georgia.
Georgia. You?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. You?
New York.
Huh?
New York.
Where?
New York.
New York. You?
New York.
New York. You?
New York.
New York? New York?
New York.
New York? Memphis. New York. New York. New York. New York. New York. New York. New York.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
New York.
New York.
Connecticut.
Where?
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
New Haven.
Where?
New Haven.
New Haven.
Connecticut.
Okay. Good.
New Haven.
New Harvard.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Miami.
Miami. Oh, yeah, that's a smart man right there. You? Ohio. You?
New York.
New York.
New York.
What? Connecticut.
New York.
New York. New York. New York. New York. Where you going? New York. You? No New York. Where you going? Chicago. Okay. You?
New York.
New York. You?
New York.
New York. You? New York. You?
DC.
DC. You?
Manhattan.
Where you going?
Manhattan.
Marathon. You? Where you going? New York? You?
New York.
New York.
Videos like that, unfortunately, are becoming very too common, almost daily. If you look online, if you know who to follow, there are certain people that pretty much have devoted their life in the recent weeks and months that just stay down at the border and they record stuff like that. I know that some people are going to complain that it was for too lengthy of time to show that video clip. It was much longer than that. I shortened it to about 2.5 minutes to get the point across of what is happening every day, what is coming into this country every day. We cannot forget this. Yes, there are things going on around the world. There are things going on in the economy. There's the whole clown show with the election. But every day, folks, every day, hundreds, thousands are entering this country illegally. And as you can see in that clip, they're not, I mean, they're from all over the world. And honestly, it's, I personally don't care what skin color they are. I don't even care so much of where they're coming from. But when someone comes into this country and the very first thing they do getting here is committing a crime by entering this nation illegally, that kind of sets a precedent right there, right? And then usually the next thing that they're doing is they're trying to get some kind of, welfare, free program, free food, free, handouts, something like that. Kind of tells you where they're going. And as you can see in this short video clip, really, because that's not anywhere near the full the full story of what happens every day. You can see that they're going all over. Yes, the majority of them said that they were going to New York, and it's possible that as the guy was going along, and like I said, that video went on for a few more minutes. Maybe they don't all understand English too well, so they're just repeating what the guy in front of them said. But it was very clear that there were several other places that they were going. And I suspect, as we have seen, that they may go to New York or they may go to LA, but then as time goes on, they start to spread around the country because there's more opportunities for them, they find out. This, and I have said this so many times, and I will continue to say it, is the most important issue of our time. I don't care what anyone has to say about it. I'm not going to listen to it. That says otherwise, that wants to make an argument that this is healthy, that this is good for the economy. Just the last couple of days, the Federal Reserve Chairman, Powell, made a statement that employment numbers are down. One of the reasons why they had to, they say they had to lower the interest rates is because employment is dropping at a staggering rate. And part of the reason for that is because of all the illegal immigration. This is becoming a truly epidemic problem, folks. And it's not, you know, the lack of employment or dropping employment numbers is really just a small problem compared to the bigger problem that we're watching our civilization, our culture, American culture, traditions, everything being wiped away. And it may not be happening where you're at, but it is happening in places all over this country. And as it spreads, it will spread like a virus. And even if people from other countries here illegally may not end up in where you're at, the virus of the destruction of our culture will spread. And this is the biggest thing that I can think of that's happening right now. Probably aside from just the collapse of morality, the collapse of God and Bible-centered, focused culture, this is definitely the biggest thing. And we have to wake up to this. We have to realize that this is happening, and not just watch videos like I just showed, or news reports out of Springfield, Ohio, or Aurora, Colorado, or elsewhere, and say, yeah, that's really bad, and that's awful for them, and yeah, it's going to keep spreading around, but yet not be doing anything ourselves. That's the big thing. We, you and I, have to be we have to be in full activation mode preparing for this. And it's a full scope. I mean, it's a very holistic approach to preparedness. Yes, you need to have food, you need to have water storage and filtration and medical and guns and ammo and tools and skills and all of that kind of stuff. You need to be in the mental state to understand that we have to be in a state of readiness, that the country we once lived in does no longer exist. And that something new is being forced upon us, and we have to be prepared for that. We also need to be getting active locally. You need to be having conversations with people around you. This is difficult. I will admit it's not easy. Occasionally I get emails from some of you, and you make statements to the effect that, well, you make it look easy. You know, it just fell upon you. You know, you have this community and this group, and you have these meetings, and everything goes really well for you. It didn't start out that way. It started off, you know, very slow, but we were very diligent in keeping going and having regular meetings, even if no one showed up or if one or two people showed up. We were very diligent in just doing things locally, and we would go out and do a work day for someone, and one or two people would show up because that's the only people we had was one or two people. And of course now things have expanded and we're much more active, but and we have much more people, and people are still coming from all over wanting to attend our meetings. But the point is, which I want to, as a little side note, that next meeting is this coming Sunday, the 29th. So if you can make it, surely personally encourage you to be there. But we have to be doing this kind of stuff. We have to be having communication with people around us. If you live in rural, small town America, there's still a chance, there's still a hope that you can have conversations with local police and local sheriffs and local government officials, emergency management, fire departments, city councils, county commissions. If you live in a bigger area that's already started to shift towards the wokeism, unfortunately, you may not have much success. But if you still live in that kind of small town, conservative, patriotic, red-blooded American type of community, you might have some hope. And you need to be having these conversations. I would not walk into that conversation with this kind of militant mindset. have the conversations with these people from almost a naive, innocent sort of perspective. What are we going to do? If they don't know that it's happening, which I would be shocked if they don't know, show them some video clips. Say, hey, what are we going to do when things like that's going on in Springfield, Ohio, and other communities? Maybe you know about it happening in communities in your neck of the woods. Say, hey, we've got a group of them congregating in such and such town 20, 30 minutes away. What are we going to do when they start coming here? Do we have a plan? Does our county, does our city, does our district, whatever, does it have an emergency plan? And what about the neighbors around you? Have you talked to them about what what you could do as a group to kind of build a hedge around you when this happens? Be alert. Everyone kind of doing their own diligence in collecting intel and making everyone aware of any changes, any things out of the ordinary that's happening. Hey, get on the phone or texting or some kind of little chat group. I was just at the local lumber yard and 2 big old church van loads of what looks to be migrants pulled up, not speaking any English, looking for work. Hey, that apartment complex down the road there, there's a whole bunch of them living there. It looks to be several families in each apartment. We need to be aware of that. Start keeping a tab on things, keeping a log and a journal entry, that type of stuff. Now, is that going to stop it? No, not necessarily, but it could be helpful if you're able to get local government officials to pay attention to the problem. You could go and show that to them. And again, that's just depends on where you're at. Some places, government officials have already been bought and paid for, and they're probably not going to be interested at all. There are still good places where you can find good people, for the most part, in leadership, and they may listen to you. And even if they don't listen to you, like I said, we have got to start building coalitions with neighbors, loved ones, people around us, just friends, community, because this is not something that you as just an individual is going to be very successful in defending against on your own. You need to have that around you. This is a truly major problem between crime, disease, economic problems, violent crimes, just culture change, the shifting of moralities and everything that's so drastically different from many of these third world nations than what we're used to. This is happening as I speak. As I speak, people are pouring into this country from all over the world. As I speak, they are spreading around this nation. As I speak, there are people moving into smaller and smaller towns and communities around this country. As I speak, there are crimes being committed by people from other countries that are here illegally. When you have tens of millions of them in this nation, you know that it's just almost a moment-by-moment time event that these things are happening. And they could be happening near you sooner than later. And so you need to be getting prepared for that. I've been preaching this message for years now. And some of you, hopefully many of you, have listened to myself and many others like me. For the rest of you, your choices are to basically kick it into high gear and get really, really serious, really, really fast. Or, I don't know, you do nothing and end up in a really bad place. Because this is a powder keg. We're already seeing obvious signs of, I guess you could say, minor explosions, figuratively speaking, in places like Springfield and Aurora. But it's going to start happening everywhere. And like I said, there's always that other factor of if America gets involved in a big world war, and it's really not an if, it's a when, because we already are, just more profoundly involved, whether it be in the Middle East or Europe or in Asia. People from those countries are also here illegally, and we don't know how many of those people are here just as like sleeper cells, just waiting for the right moment. So the amount of violence of missing animals and theft and other things like that could turn into terroristic levels of violence. And we also have to be prepared for that. We have opened Pandora's box as a nation. Now, you and I may not have. We were against it from the beginning. But the reality is this nation has opened Pandora's box by having unfettered, unfiltered illegals just pouring into this nation on a daily basis. And it is going to hurt us. You may believe that there's a certain chance in the future of things just turning around and being different in a lot of different ways. And maybe that's possible. But this is one area that it's going to be near impossible to turn it around. And it's going to change America forever. I don't think, no matter how good of a person gets into office, I don't think there's any way to completely reverse the damage that's been done. Maybe somewhat it can be, but there's no way to reverse it all. And now we have to prepare for it. In fact, we have to get ready for it because it's happening. And is there much we can do to stop it as individuals? Probably not. But we need to be prepared, embrace ourselves for the impact of when it starts happening closer and closer to home. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.